watched a soccer game. So a lot of people in all of the world are excited for this world event, which will happen in Brazil next year. It's the World Cup. Today I'll tell about World Cup that will influence the life of many people, and especially for Brazilians. The World Cup is not just a big event for Brazilians. It means more. The World Cup made Brazilians open their eyes to see what is happening in the country and to protest against what they think is wrong. So today I will start talking about what Brazil expects from World Cup, how the preparations for World Cup are going, and how the World Cup influences people's lives in Brazil. What Brazil expects from World Cup? Brazil expects tourists spend 10 billion next year during the World Cup's month. 3 million domestic tourists are expected to spend 8 billion during the competition. And it is expected 600,000 foreigners will visit Brazil and inject 2 billion into the economy. Rio de Janeiro is the most expensive host city. With a project daily spent about $400 per person. The next city is expected to be Brasilia, is the capital of the country, and the cheapest should be Natal. You can see one picture of each city. The city that expect most visitors are São Paulo, with almost 600,000 tourists. How the preparations for World Cup are going? So 12 host cities prepared their stadiums for the World Cup, and the works include reform to adapt the equipments to standard FIFA and construction of new arenas or stadiums. So now we will see some pictures of some cities and some stadiums. So Belo Horizonte is the city. The stadium is Mineirão, has 64,500 places, cost about 300 million. Brasília, Estádio Mané Garrincha, with 71,000 places, cost about 500 million. Cuiabá, other city, Arena Pantanal, will have capacity for 43,600 spectators, cost about 200 million. Curitiba, Arena da Baixada, costs about 100 million. São Paulo, Arena Corinthians, the project includes 65,000 seats, cost about 400 million. Rio de Janeiro, Stadium Maracanã, costs about 400 million. Porto Alegre, Stadium Beira Rio, capacity to 6,800 seats, costs about 150 million. So all these reforms include new locker rooms, coverage, bleachers, parking, let's see. Also, the President Dilma, she announced to release 300 million in investment in urban mobility in São Paulo. All this money to improve the transport, and will be invested 60 million in hotels in Rio de Janeiro, what will create new jobs. How the World Cup influences people lives in lives in Brazil. So, although Brazil expects to make a large profit with tourists during the World Cup, the World Cup costs. It's one of the reasons for many protests happening in Brazil. And social services are failing around them, particularly in health, education, and transport. Many live in tiny breeze blocks, house suburbs far away from the centers, the city centers by bus, and the transport, it was the increased fare bus. It was the spark to lead to the protest in June. Well, the people demand more investments in public service. They want better public schools, hospital, transportation. Brazil has many problems in infrastructure. There are virtually no trains. The airports are chaotic and overcrowded. Mobile phone and internet fail regularly and is very expensive. Many roads are crumbling. And beside all these problems, they complain about corruption in public life, as well as spending on hosting the World Cup. The government is spending a lot of money to build and to reform football stations, and the people demand FIFA standard health, education, and transport. How you can read in pictures. So the protests affected the Confederations Cup in June, prompting fears about safety and security for the next year to the World Cup. And more than 1 million Brazilians hurried onto the streets of over 100 cities in anti-government demonstrations. The protest faced tear gas and paper spray and rubber bullets. Brazilians believe that the people are indignant, and the World Cup is a great opportunity for them to show this for the world. However, the player Ronaldo, he said in one interview that the World Cup is a great opportunity for the country has more investments in Brazil. So besides new stadiums, Brazil can improve in infrastructure, mobility, airports, how you can see in pictures. And he believes that the most of Brazilians are not against World Cup. Brazilians love soccer. So what they demand, what they want is more improvements for the country, for their life. And he thinks the tournament will be a success, and the government said the bigger guarantees safety and security for all events in the country next year, like New Year Eves in Copacabana Beach, Carnival, and World Cup. So everybody can go and enjoy. Thank you.